Hello and welcome back to Markets at noon. Let's welcome in the management at Mahindra Logistics now. They declared their number. Mr. Swaminathan, Managing Director and CEO at the company, is now joining us. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Could you just first start by the quarter? Overall, a muted quarter in terms of multiple headwinds, whether you talk about auto, PTS, SCM segment, all faced pressure. Was it only the impact of lockdown?
I think, as you pointed out, obviously our revenues overall declined 20% from 1,015 crores to around 812 crores in Q4 FY20. The largest part of that was really because of the continuing impact of the auto slowdown. So Q4 19 was an exceptionally strong quarter for the auto sector, which is our largest vertical. We had seen strong growth with both our anchor customer, which is M&M, and other auto OEMs. And that continuing impact, that slowdown which we've seen the whole year, kind of played out in Q4 as well. And that is the largest impact you see. We did see some impact of the lockdown. The lockdown impacted, cross-border supply chains, starting February when China started having a shutdown. And of course, it impacted us very broadly after the national lockdown in the end of March. And in our mobility business as well, which saw a kind of impact through the full of the month of March. But I would say the larger impact really was the decline, in the auto sector. Barring the auto sector, our revenues actually were pretty robust. Our revenues from e-commerce and the consumer and freight forwarding business, all grew in the quarter by 15 to 35-40%. The largest being our freight forwarding business. So some really good growth in where we are strategically focusing for growth. But obviously the challenges of the auto sector and some impact of COVID-19 did play out unfavorably in the quarter.
While the weakness in the auto segment continues, how are you ramping up other segments? Are you seeing YOY growth in e-commerce, freight forwarding, maybe some consumers where movement is there?
Yes, I would say that I think, from our perspective, the focus for us has always been to continue our, penetration in the auto segment, but expand and diversify into consumer, e-commerce and freight forwarding. So this year, we've obviously seen some really strong growth. E-commerce, on a full year FY20 basis, e-commerce grew by 26%. Our consumer businesses grew by nearly 30%. So we've seen some strong adoption for, the work we are doing in terms of fulfillment and integrated distribution solutions. And we expect that to continue. So clearly, the first quarter is going to be a challenging quarter, I think, for the entire industry, and we won't be an exception. But given the scale and the width of the lockdown, and it will be a few weeks or couple of months at least before supply chain starts stabilizing again. But post that, we do see quick recovery on the consumer business and the e-commerce business, and we expect that they will come back to growth. Obviously, we think underlying dynamics on both those verticals will also be favorable. Obviously, post lockdown, there should be an increasing demand for digital or marketplace-based deliveries, and that's an opportunity for us, as 3PL companies to capitalize on. Similarly, I think on the consumer space, we are seeing a lot more opportunities to provide omni-channel solutions, and that's work which we are doing with some of our larger accounts. So that's something which we hope will also play out that in the coming part of the year. Some parts of consumer will probably be depressed and will take a longer time to recover. I'd say most notably retail. Retail will probably have a slightly longer overhang. But for the full year, we are still pretty optimistic. But from the second quarter onwards, we will be able to get back and consolidate the progress we have made, in FY19-20.
Are you looking at logistics company or freight forwarding company units currently?
Yes, I would say that what we see clearly opportunities we see acceleration of opportunities where we've, in the areas we've been talking about for the last 12 to 18 months. Clearly warehousing and value-added services will see growth. It has been seeing growth and will accelerate further. especially as there's an increased focus on distribution and developing distribution capability. Similarly, I think what COVID-19 has also highlighted is the importance of managing cross-border supply chains well. So we do see definitely some tailwinds to our freight forwarding business, which has done very well in 1920, and we expect that to continue. Now, in terms of specific assets or opportunities, we generally don't comment on that. So we are interested in growth in these markets, and we look at things as they come.
Slowing growth, poor economic outlook. How would you protect your business from these multiple headwinds? What are the kind of growth numbers, or what are the kind of measures that you're taking to make things stable forward?
Yeah, so I would say the first quarter is going to be challenging. So let's talk about the rest of the year, right? So we're all reprioritizing, recalibrating our business, and to be honest, I think trying to figure out what the new normal will be. Strategically, we've already been on a direction to grow in fulfillment solutions and distribution solutions, and those are driven by consumer, e-commerce, freight forwarding. So that work will continue, and we don't really see that focus changing, in our business. We expect to continue to invest in digitization and technology. That's an investment we have persisted with in 2019-20 as well, despite the decline or the softness in the auto sector. We think that's really critical to the way we provide value to our customers. So that will be an area of continued focus for us. So these two things will not change, right, in any material way or in terms of a strategic direction. And we think there's enough headroom for growth, right, in these verticals or these markets. And there's some real opportunities to create tech-based, values, solutions for our customers. Clearly, some of our verticals, especially the auto vertical, is going to see, a longer recovery period. But fortunately for us, I think, as an asset-light company, that's one of the biggest advantages we have. We have been able to, manage our business through this variability reasonably well. There will be an impact, of course, but we believe that we can manage through it because of our intrinsic asset-light model, which gives us a lot of flexibility at a business model level. So there will be some work we have to recalibrate, but our growth orientation around e-commerce, consumer, around growing our warehousing and value-added solutions, and providing more integrated solutions to our customers, those 3 or 4 levers will remain very active for us, and we expect to continue to invest in those in 2021.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time for us. Always good to get perspective. Let's get some market